Alright, so see at this point we've gotten halfway around the head, approximately, stitching in arches around each one of these markers for where the rope holes will go. And if you look on this side, the amount of spare sinew we have at this point is now just a little more than one circumference, when we started out at about 2 with a little extra to spare. So we'll have enough to finish going all the way around. So at this point I'm just going to continue stitching all the way around. Okay, so now we've stitched all the way around the perimeter of the head, and we've got back to 1 stitch before the beginning. So at this point we need to finish the stitch. So the way to do that is to stitch over everything, then come back and tie it off. So I'm going to complete the final stitch here by going through the hole that I made for the original stitch. And then go over, just pop right through the second hole and stitch over the first stitch. Tighten it up, do that again, over stitching the second stitch. And then go back over 1 more stitch. And we'll pull that one through and tie it off. So it's pulled through, cut it. Now we have just 2 end pieces. And I just tie a square knot. Tie it off. And then a second square knot. And trim them and you're done.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Alright, so now we have to put a line so that we know where we're going to put the second stitch. And the way you figure this out is you take your already completed shell and you set it on your drum head. And you figure out how much space you have. And then you make that stitch on the outside of the shell so that there will be plenty of room when you trim this bottom skin up, so that it won't contact the shell. At this point I'm going to stitch around, marking a line with white chalk. The point being that once you stitch over this chalk with the sinew, if it's very dark, you will actually see through it through the sinew. It will be hard to wash it all off.
Okay.
Alright, so now we're going to do the inner stitch line. And the inner stitch line, you see we've marked with this white chalk. And the inner stitch line is done the same way as the outer stitch line, but it's a little easier. You don't have to go around these holes that you cut out. It's just going to be 1 continuous stitch all the way around. And 2 is going to take less time because the stitches are going to be about twice the size of these stitches, or half the stitch density. So I'm going to start here, push through, pull back, generate a loop like that, then stick something in this loop to hold it, pull the awl out, and pull the end of that through. Remember that you're going to need enough slack on this one, a lot of extra, so that we can make all the trip all the way around. This one's a little easier, but you'll want at least the whole circumference of it, plus a little extra. So that should be enough. And we're going to stitch it the same way we stitched the other one, except we're going to make the stitches a little larger. So we'll start here, our first stitch. Make that loop. Again, find the end of this, run it through. Pull the awl out, tighten the stitch, and we'll do that again. Pull the awl through, make a loop, find the end, run it through, pull it back, tighten the stitch, and then just repeat that all the way around until you get to the end again. Alright, so we've now completed the inner stitch line as well. So same thing as we did with the outer stitch line. Once we get back to where we started, we are going to stitch through that first hole. You can get it if you go through that first hole. Okay. Stitch through the first hole. Make a loop on the back side. Run it through that loop. Pull it tight. Stitch over the first stitch. Make that loop on the back side again. Run it through the loop. Pull it back, tighten it up. Go over the second stitch the same way. Make a loop. Tighten it up. And then back up. Go back over the one that you just did. Come through. Put something in there to hold it. Alright, so now we've got two pieces. Here we'll trim off a little extra. And like we did before, just going to tie a square knot. And then we'll tie a second square knot. And trim off the excess. And now the stitching is done.